I think I just don't shiver so. I hate to shiver so much that I just am optimistic that I'm not going to shiver as bad as I could because I don't want to shiver at all. So I'm just going to optimistically get it to be less
Okay, I like it.
cold.
I
So
like
maybe
it.
it's gonna be more snow, cause if
Well, there's
it's not a really cold winter, then there's a chance for more snow.
unfortunately in my head they go hand in hand, but I know they don't. It's just cold. Then we got Mr. Snowboard back here shaking his head. Bring it on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with
bring
you.
it on.
Well, let's bring it on, dump it.
You can have it, let's have it.
I do agree with that idea. It's gonna
I'm-
snow, just.
I'm for it. Get it over with, dump it, and then be done.
Get
Right?
it in January and February, then be done.
If,
November to April.
November to April.
Right?
no, we only need snow for 2
Mid-December
months.
is good.
Fresh snow.
Just do our parking from November 15th to April 15th.
There you go, there you go.
So it needs to snow like on the 21st and 22nd,
Of December.
then of December, and then not on the 23rd, 24th, or 25th, so that the plow driver's gonna have a decent
True.
Christmas. And then it can snow again on the 26th, and then not on the 30th or 31st, so that
Have days off.
people
Okay.
don't crash and burn coming home from New Year's, so. That would be my question.
Statistically, we haven't had snow on Christmas for a little bit, so maybe we're due.
Maybe.
If we do, we're gonna make sure the blame is on you.
Give me the keys, I'll go plow.
All right, we'll meet you there, 4 AM on.
4 AM, you'll be out there in the cold. Steve Wood sent me a text a bit ago and said he's on his way. Why did you send an email to John Pratt? Did you send him a copy of the agenda? Okay.
That was
Yeah.
whatever was on the application. Can't remember what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, John Pack.
He did call me.
Got another Stapley.
What a cute. What's this one's name?
Ronan.
Roman.
It's Tayson's. Sequoia is her name. So, Ronan Stapley.
Hi, Stephen.
There he is. Only 1 minute. That clock could be a little off even, so I made it.
Scrambled from a mud bog in Idaho.
We're in a mud bog in Idaho.
You should see the truck.
What part of Idaho?
Riverdale area, north of Preston.
North and east. That we're
Northwest.
yes. My directions. Are you ready as well, Ty?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to our Administrative Land Use Authority. Today's October 29th, 2025. It's just shortly after 2:30 in the afternoon. We're in the Providence City Office Building at 164 North Gateway Drive in Providence. I'm Scarlett Bankhead, and I am the chair of this meeting. On my left is Stephen Wood, our city engineer, and on my right is Rob Stapley, our Public Works Director. We also have our city manager, Ryan Snow, our city recorder, Ty Cameron, and our stormwater and zoning compliance officer, Colton Love. We have first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. The Administrative Land Use Authority will consider approval of the minutes from October 15th, 2025, and I did not have any changes to those. Did either of you?
No, they looked great.
No changes on my end either.
Okay, then would one of you like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve those minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Rob Stapley, second by Stephen Wood. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are, any opposed? Minutes are approved. Welcome, John. You can just sit right up here. Our first item of business is the Bowis subdivision amendment. The Administrative Land Use Authority will review, discuss, and may approve a final plat for Bowis subdivision amendment number 1, splitting Lot 3 into 2 lots located at 441 South, 100 West in Providence. Colton, do you want to introduce this for us?
Yeah. All right, so this is for an applicant requesting approval to change the number of lots within the subdivision by subdividing one or more lots at 441 South, 100 West. And some background information. So we received the most recent application on October 14th, 2025. Contained Providence City final / amended subdivision plat application, site plan, and petition to amend a subdivision. Petition seeks to change the number of lots within the subdivision by subdividing one or more lots. And Aaron Walker, Deputy Fire Marshal, reviewed the site, and he sent us a letter dated July 3rd of 25. The findings of fact, following regulations and requirements to be considered, Utah Code, Title 10, Chapter 9A, Part 6, subdivisions, gives the legislative body of a municipality the authority to enact ordinances requiring that a subdivision plat comply with the provisions of the municipality's ordinances and the provisions of Part 6. Also, PCC 2-4-1 establishes the Administrative Land Use Authority as the land use authority for all subdivisions. Conclusions of law, Providence City has enacted ordinances requiring that a subdivision plat comply with the provisions of the municipality's ordinances and the provisions of the Utah Code, Title 10, Chapter 9A, Section 6. The proposed final plat is consistent with the general plan and development in the surrounding areas. And conditions, applicant will continue to meet all relevant federal, state, county, and Providence City rules, laws, code, and ordinances. They needed coordination with irrigation company, necessary stormwater calculations, showing of all public utility easements, determined building envelopes with fire access restrictions, and any additional conditions the land use authority may require. Approval by the city of an application or paperwork submitted does not alleviate the owners and or their agents from their responsibilities to understand and conform to local, state, and federal laws. Providence City's approval is not intended to and cannot be construed to allow any laws to be violated.
Thank you. Do you have any questions on that, John?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. In looking at the amended plat and the information that you sent us, so it shows we got the letter from the Blacksmith Fork Irrigation Company. We received the information for the stormwater. You show public utility easements on the plat. We haven't been able to discuss any of it yet, so we'll have some discussion about that. We as the three of us. You do show the fire protection area on the plat. And it's yet to be determined if we're going to need cost estimates. So as I didn't see cost estimates come in, right? You didn't submit any, what it would cost to create that pond, right?
That was not asked to have before,
Yeah.
so I did not.
Okay. All right. You've got lots of red, Stephen. What you got?
Sorry, this was the
That's the old one.
old one. I just
Okay.
grabbed it from the very beginning.
Okay. All right. Well, Rob, have you got any? I will make one, just a general comment. You don't need to have to get the CenturyLink signatures anymore. So if you want to take that off the plat, you don't need to go get that one. It'll save you a signature. As far as kind of the not technical stuff, I went through and it works, but I don't know as far as legal description and everything that you look at, what your thought is on it. And do you feel like the stormwater, the information provided for the stormwater is adequate?
So the stormwater was provided from Crossroads Engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Seedall. One quick question that I have is this: so the total area is the 0.7 acres. So is this calculation intended to replace the previously provided stormwater calculations for the subdivision?
He reviewed the previous information, and then he included in the note in his documentation that the previous, even including the additional hardscaping and other things going on, the previous calculations are still feasible for the available lot. And I think that is listed in his letter.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that it was a, instead of addition, or it was a full replacement.
Could your mic on up there? We can't hardly hear what you people are saying. Talk closer.
Just talk right into the mic.
Is that better? There we go.
We just wanted to determine, to make sure that the stormwater evaluation, that just specifically which acreage it was considering, because it doesn't need to consider the old stormwater. The original development had made provisions for stormwater. What Mr. Pack had to do was determine whether adding another home with hardscape would add to the stormwater requirement. So that's what we were talking about the acreage for.
So-
The conclusion was it does require looking at stormwater requirements for the new lot.
The
Yes.
conclusion is that he looked at stormwater requirements for the new lots.
Yes, it has been provided. The additional.
It is downhill from that lot, so I just wanted
Miss,
to know stormwater going.
this is kind of we're fairly informal, but we have to be a little bit formal. And one of the things that has to happen, if you want to speak, you need to come up to talk in the mic, because the meeting is recorded. And so even though we may be able to hear you and respond to you, for the public to hear what's going on, we need you to step up to the microphone. So,
You're good. So from my previous understanding, the detention facility is provided in the northwest corner of Lot 5A is the detention facility for the entire Bowis development. Am I correct in that thought, or is there
These areas, I think there were, in the original plot, there might have been some other areas that were in
Okay.
the other lots.
there's one.
But for this
Okay.
lot and this subdivision, there is one that is located inside.
so
That's
then,
not the entirety of the original.
okay, but so then this this pond would be providing the stormwater retention facilities for Lot 5A and Lot 4A.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay, and I did see the calculations. And normally I'd be looking for a different method of evaluation, but this is less than an acre, so the method provided is appropriate. But I just wanted that clarification there.
So just for my clarification, that means the Bowis approved subdivision construction drawings, they have not done the stormwater ponds or whatnot related to the subdivision, probably have a less stringent need, since they haven't constructed them yet, and they're breaking off a portion of the stormwater for these two individual lots. And I believe the original pond, I could be mistaken because it's been a long time since I reviewed those plans, but the original plans had all of this acreage going to one location pond.
No.
They were on the bottom end of this parcel, and there was kind of, I think it was kind of shared between these two new lots because it crossed this boundary line.
So
But this one should have went in when the house went in. The house that was built here?
these north two lots should have a stormwater facility intended for those
I think
individually.
it met minimum improvements for them to build their house. It has not been finalized or completed because
Okay.
the way our code reads, we don't make them fine tune and landscape and all that kind of
But it
stuff,
was-
those ponds,
But
until,
it would have been
after.
moved in with the house, with this house.
yeah, as far as a functional stormwater temporary arrangement.
Okay.
With the current stormwater provisions for Lot 5A and Lot 4A, it's looking like the pond again is in the northwest corner, down gradient from those two lots. And so is there a consideration for a berm on the west edge of Lot 5A to prevent stormwater from leaving their western boundary and directing it to the pond? I didn't see any
That
construction notes to that degree to just
there were no
prevent.
construction notes to that degree on prevention of continual flow of water.
That would be a condition on mine, just that there would be a berm installed along the western edge of Lot 5A to prevent stormwater from shedding off of Lot 5A into the western lot outside of the development, so it would direct all the water into the storm detention pond.
Would you like berms on both the south or the west as well as the north sides?
I would just need it on the west. Yeah, the west edge.
Because it all flows
The
towards
slope flows both south and west. So,
south.
sorry, not
North.
south, my apologies.
North,
North
north.
and west. Northwest in that general direction.
So I would highly recommend it on the north, but where that is technically a part of the full development,
Mm-hmm.
it can flow within the development, but the western boundary is where your development ends and goes into neighboring parcels that wasn't part of the development. So that would be the end, that would be the edge that we'd need to protect. The north edge, by all means, I'd recommend it, but those are all lots within the development, and so that's not.
How would you like that? Would you like that as something that's written or shown in some way or
It would have to
form?
be documented, yes. It would have to be a,
Put it in as just its own separate document or as an amendment to either that?
no, it wouldn't be on the plat. It would need to be within the proper easements of that area. So the berm itself needs to be contained within an easement so that the contours of it can't be altered, so that it remains in perpetuity. But we would need a document probably from Jeff Seedall of just a simple exhibit design alteration of that to be included with the construction drawings that were previously approved for the development.
Okay. Okay.
In connection with that, an additional note protecting the stormwater easements so that those contours cannot be altered in the future would also be that would be required on the plat. Just on either your notes section in the top left corner, adding another note indicating that the contours within the detention pond and PMUE easements, the contours cannot be altered, because the contouring is what is containing the stormwater. So that note would have to be on the plat.
I guess on a different note, then we can switch gears maybe to this irrigation letter. I don't know if that's been read by both of you, and if you've read that irrigation letter from Blacksmith Fork Irrigation Company, but to fully understand what it's trying to allude to and say that needs to happen related to that. Do you have any plans or comments related to how to address their concerns?
So the main thing that they voiced to me as they were going about it was that they are not responsible for the upkeep and maintenance or installation of any of these features, but as to keep both what they're asking for, I have no issues with the recommendations of both burying those pipes to get them more safe, as well as adding some additional security for the pipe, I can never remember the appropriate term for the intersection where it turns to the two different directions.
Junction box.
A junction box, thank you, for the junction box, and then upgrading that as well as getting a metal grate over top of it so that it will keep protected. And
So that is your plan is to pipe the ditch, alter the junction box to a traffic rated scenario that works for the water users and fits within the parameters of this lot so that the shareholders can continue to get their water in a safe, manageable way. Well, I don't know that we can really desire or ask for anything more than that, because that accomplishes the goal. So
yeah,
I guess if there was a add-on related to that, the sidewalk currently stops. I allowed it to stop until something was figured out with the ditch company and that very dilemma. So the sidewalk didn't quite make it to the property line.
yeah, that sidewalk needs, at least for the area that's impacting the road, needs to be taken out anyways. So
Could you say that again, John?
we're talking about the sidewalk that comes up to to the property.
Just pull them up. There you go.
Sorry. And that sidewalk that they've done is not appropriate for road access. So that needs to be altered anyway. So
For the driveway access.
Correct. For the back lot that we're discussing. So there's going to need to be the 20 feet there that needs to be altered. So all that, having that stop where it is fine for now.
And then we can get the ditch piped and the new driveway will be a thicker concrete sidewalk and actually be able to reach the property line in the end, once you get the pipes stuff remedied as well. Then, yeah, it all sounds...
Comments about that? No. No? You can, but you have to be recognized. Okay.
I'm Marcia Hunt. I'm the neighbor just to the south.
Perfect.
What you were just talking about with the sidewalk and how it stopped there at the pipe to protect the irrigations. It's my understanding that that is the point at which there will be an ingress to the property, whatever the lot that you're talking about. We have a concern, this is my concern, that where the barn ends, the plywood of the barn ends over to where the irrigation pipe begins is actually 21 feet. The concern is that as development of the barn is finished and the driveway is poured, it will put the pipes, the irrigation pipe that these people have paid for will be in jeopardy. And we're just concerned that the ingress there is going to be a problem. The other thing is, if and when this property is sold, there will be equipment coming in on that 21 feet, which will also put these folks' irrigation pipe in a situation where it could be damaged, and we would like to know how John's going to speak to that.
That would be shown on how the construction drawings on the plan, on how the pipe would be laid according to what Blacksmith Fork Irrigation wants. And,
Have you seen the property? Okay.
but you can put pipe under concrete.
You can put pipe under concrete.
The pipe isn't planning to be under the concrete. It is going to be buried and protected.
These folks' white pipe?
Their pipe is going to be replaced to a pipe that can be better suited for underground situations, so that they have full access, and we will keep their pipe as protected as we can possibly do.
Okay, did you know that?
That has been addressed by both Blacksmith Fork, and we have
Okay.
no issues with
So
following.
will where the pipe is now, John, that will
You
be-
need to, keep your
will that
comments
be
this
buried
direction.
under, so, okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that the whole, so between the barn and the
Marcia,
the barn and the
talking
fence.
to us. You have to talk to us.
Okay. This is kind of an emotional thing.
I know.
So between the barn and the fence as it now stands will be like 23 feet, is that right?
Um,
To allow for driveway and ingress of equipment to come in and dig and stuff.
There is a documented 20-foot wide easement on the south edge of the property for the existing barn lot. That would be utilized for both the access, at least this is what it's documenting it for, utilized for the access for the flag lot, as well as it is the utility protected easement for the irrigation pipe running along the southern boundary.
Okay.
And that, my
Okay.
understanding presently is that irrigation pipe is to be replaced with a proper subgrade irrigation pipe and buried and protected.
correct.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No problem.
The all-weather, I do have a question. The all-weather surface planned for that 20-foot wide access easement, you've got a note here indicating that it's to be required of a 75,000 pound capacity. Do you have is that to be concrete? Is that asphalt? Is that
That is somewhat to be determined when the back lot is sold and the consideration of the owners with that. But if I were to be the one, it'd be asphalt. Asphalt is going to be what that road will be.
okay? I was just curious. No, in terms of the code, yeah, it just needs to be an all-weather surface capable of allowing emergency access and EMS services, so.
So John, in addition to the note on the plat for the stormwater, we are going to need some type of construction drawing, just as, doesn't have to be, it has to be adequate to talk about how you're gonna install this plat, or this pipe, to make sure that the pipe's put in the proper location and at the proper depth, and that the road that goes over the surface is done, so that both the water line to the north, the culinary water line, and the utility, or the irrigation line, both of them, and the sewer line, they're all in that same area. So we will need to see, you want to see construction drawings on that, don't you?
Yeah, that's kind of
Yes.
where my next question was leading to, so.
Yep.
Because there is just enough here to warrant, I guess, a revised page of the construction drawings, in order to ensure that that's going to work with all the different standards and specs and ordinances that you might need to be aware of.
So those construction drawings need to be in a reference of how the irrigation lines may or may not be impacted by sewer, water, and other things.
No, they need to show how you're going, they literally need to show the depth that you're gonna install the water lines at, the sewer line, the irrigation lines. They need to show the depth, they need to show the grade, they need to show how that's gonna relate to the subbase and the base for the 75,000 pound capacity road that you'd have to put on the top of there, the driveway. So that has to be called out, how they're, we can't just have someone with a mini excavation mini excavator go in and just start laying pipe willy-nilly. They've got to have some direction as to the placement, the depth, the grade of putting those service lines and the sewer, the water, and the irrigation line.
Basically what
Is
we're,
that
I'd be
stated?
looking, yeah, I'd be looking for a construction amendment to the approved construction set for the Bowis development, as the previous development didn't include a lot of this infrastructure in terms of the piping of the canal, this box. So anything infrastructure-wise that is different than the approved construction drawings need to be provided to Providence City for,
attaching to the original construction drawings.
Yeah, you don't have to go through and redo the original drawings, just the page that applies to this. And it would also include, excuse me, your grate that you were talking about going over for all of that, all of those improvements.
So that's talking about the construction drawings for that house being built,
No, not the house being built,
for the subdivision.
Subdivision
for the
amendment.
subdivision. To get the lot ready for the house to be built is what
Mhm.
it's talking about.
so it should encompass the.
That need to be stamped as well.
Yes, it should be stamped by a licensed engineer. So it should encompass your catch basin, the irrigation pipe between you and the Hunt property. It should also incorporate the stormwater detention pond and its grade facilities as well as its emergency overflow is, and those contours and grades. It should also contain the grading for the berm protecting the western property. Again, as Scarlett indicated, it should also provide the details on your access road of the weather surface, whether it's to be asphalt, concrete, whether it's a road base compacted, depth of it, all that kind of fun details. And so, yeah, basically all the infrastructure changes from the approved construction drawings original to what we are discussing today would need to be provided. That wouldn't need to be reviewed by this body. I mean, that could be reviewed by myself and Public Works outside of it, so it doesn't have to be waiting for this type of a meeting. But yeah, we'd want to see those.
So we can make an approval with conditions so that we don't hold you up. But the conditions will be that the construction drawings will have to be approved. That's one of the conditions, is the construction drawings would have to be approved. And the construction drawings, excuse me, will have to be approved before you could record this. So we can get everything ready through the process. So as soon as you get your construction drawings done and submit them, and these two gentlemen have a chance to review them and work with your engineer to make sure they're correct, soon as that's taken care of, then Steve can sign those. It doesn't have to come back to this meeting. Steve can sign those, and then you can bring in the Mylar page of this plat, which is just a different type of, it's like a vellum, is that the word?
Yeah.
Kind of paper that you recorded on. Your surveyor will know exactly what we're talking about. But anyway, you would bring that in. We would collect all the you would get the utility signatures, the gas and the power company. We would take care of the city engineer, the mayor, the attorney, the land use authority. We will sign that in-house, and then you can submit that to the county recorder to actually get the lot recorded.
So gas, electricity, sewer, is that done through the city as well, or do
Yeah,
I need to?
the sewer,
All the names that are on.
Yeah, yeah.
on
yeah,
the plat.
you've got the culinary water and sanitary sewer on.
But that'll be done in-house, or do I need to go separately for
The
that
only,
one?
the ones you have to go separately for are the outside utilities. So like Dominion Energy,
and Comcast.
Rocky Mountain Power, Comcast.
It's those three.
But while we're at it, since you have to add a note to the plat, under utility company approvals, change CenturyLink to Providence Fiber. And then we will sign up for that too.
Okay.
Marcia Hunt,
Yes.
you said something about something that needed to be done between, I think it had to do with the sidewalk and how that's the sidewalk that ends and that goes over to my property. What was it that you said there to the Hunt property?
Oh, just the boundary between the proposed development and the Hunt property.
What will happen
Where-
there?
That's what I would want shown in the construction
Okay.
drawings is the
Right now, it's a,
yeah.
okay,
So the plat is just the legal description of ownership and all that kind of stuff, and
okay, thank you.
and that's why we need the construction drawings is to verify what is to be done in that type of area. And okay. Well, I was gonna take the microphone to him.
I'm Bill Majan, neighbor on the west side. I talked to John this morning. He told me what his plans were for the pipe and the concrete box for the irrigation into the pipe. And I only have one question, and that's about the sewer line. If you build a house back there, you're going to be going uphill quite a ways to the sewer line on First West.
So there's a
Is that
there's
right?
a likelihood, potentially, it sounds like, that they'll have to do an ejection pump, and because gravity won't work, but
Yeah.
it's a very common practice these days.
Are you aware you'll have to put a pump in if
I am aware.
down
There's-
from the sewer line?
Mr. Majin,
Or
you just talked to us, not,
I know it's a
go
silly
or
thing.
go through Doc Staters
Yeah.
downhill, or my place downhill if you don't put a pump in.
Yeah,
But-
it's likely, it sounds like, based on elevation and grades, that he'll have to have an ejection pump to make the sewer work, but which
Okay.
is very doable, though.
Okay, I think that was my main concern.
Yeah, we always shoot for gravity every which way we can, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and some people are willing to pump it.
Okay.
I have a question for you, actually, real quick. Have you looked over the routing of the irrigation proposed, the piping and?
I assume the pipe would be essentially where it is now, only underground. And either all the way down to my corner or halfway down or past the barn.
I just want to make sure that the alterations being proposed to the irrigation system allow you to continue to use it as you have right
As
to.
long as you and John make sure that it's going to get the water to me.
Okay.
I don't care about anything else much.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you are
Thank you.
being taken care of in that regard. Please.
I just have a question about the box that the water runs into. You mentioned it's going to be redone, is that right?
The box located on 100 West, yeah.
Is that going to be deeper?
The elevation should be to the point where it shouldn't alter the flow, but the box will be recessed, so
You,
drive
and you
over
made
it
a comment that that whole thing will be covered.
with a grate, metal grate.
Right now, we have a grate that's over the pipe itself that we clean all the time to keep all the leaves and stuff coming and fill that box up. Will we have somehow access to clean that pipe grate?
You could pull the metal grate off to clean down in there. However, that metal grate is not the lightest thing.
It'll be interesting to see what their solution is with the irrigation company and the design engineers. It hasn't been designed and thought through yet. That's part of the construction drawing process. So we'll look at that, and we see different variations as to how that can be done from different job to different job. So I'm optimistic that even though we don't yet know what that really end result looks like, that I'm optimistic it'll be functional for you in the end.
If you can make it functional so that we can catch all the debris coming through that, into that box, and we can dump it without it coming into our pipe and plugging up our gates in the pipe on our property. that would be wonderful.
Well,
Or make it so that I can do it in my advanced age.
I won't mislead you to saying that it might be.
Grades and all of that.
I won't try, I'll try not to mislead you in saying that it's going to be as easy as it always has been, because sometimes construction in these head gate scenarios there isn't maybe an easier way to make things go, but it should be functional and usable.
Yeah.
I can't say it might be better, it might not be better, but it should be functional and usable.
I'm sure there's other filter systems you can put in that to possibly make it better or as good
We'll
than what I've got on it.
with this discussion, we'll kind of wrap our minds around that when we look at the construction drawings and see if we can't assist if necessary in the design aspects.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
To speak to your points that were addressed, that is something that I am in working with Circle B Irrigation to help create the box and the junctions and the gates and everything for that, to make sure it's as user friendly as I can make it.
Okay.
As well as to we are going to keep those metal gates on there, the grates, so that we prevent as much debris falling downstream into those pipes that we don't want to have to clean out.
Yeah.
And as well as I'm planning on being there to help mitigate and lift heavy pipes or grates as well whenever needs be.
And you mentioned to me that there would be a gate
Mr. Magent.
to dump the water.
I know it's
To dump the water to the north, down the ditch that's going north.
so your biggest.
If that's in there, then
It is.
I can close my gate, open that gate, and put all the debris onto the neighbor. That would,
It'll help.
that would be
it does
easy.
help
That's
clean
what I
things.
used to do in the past.
Yeah, that is the access to the north is going to be brought reinstalled so that they have access to that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's good to know that you have concerns over the debris, so thank you.
Pardon me?
It's just good to hear your comments, so thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else, Rob?
Only one, I guess, more of a question as to our own Providence rules. How does it play out with an amended piece of the puzzle in regards to a pre-construction meeting? Is that a requirement on an amendment or not?
If they have new construction drawings come in, then it would be. This is a different developer. This is,
A different developer, different contract,
Yeah.
and that's why I thought it would be
Right.
pertinent to entertain that, but I don't know if that's part of what our rules really
Yes.
state or require.
yes, we can have them come in for a pre-construction meeting.
So-
Which just means, John, once these gentlemen have had a chance to review the drawings that you submit, your construction plans. Once they review them and sign them, then Tara will probably get a hold of you, and then you'll contact your contractor, and we'll schedule a meeting where you'll come in and we'll go over all of our rules and make sure that both you and the contractor are aware of all of our construction policies. And then at that point, then you can go ahead and give us your construction schedule and go to work.
Okay.
But yes, we will hold a meeting on that.
So get those construction drawings zeroed in and give us a call and we'll get that scheduled ASAP.
The one thing that will be different about this, since you know that this is an access road going through there, as a developer, you'll put a 6-inch thick sidewalk through there instead of a 4-inch. So make sure your design engineer knows that. Generally, whoever comes in to build the house tears out the 4-inch sidewalk and puts a new 6-inch one. But since you already know where the placement of that driveway is going to be, you'll just put the 6-inch in.
Timing on that one, due to I've had so many situations in the past when construction that sidewalks have cracked and other things due to concrete trucks and other things, big heavy things. We have a tendency to do that towards the end of the construction phase of the new house. So, and I would probably put some of that towards the end of that build so as to keep them safe so we don't have to redo it again after it's installed. Is there any issues or complaints with that?
You just have to put a bond in place because we'll issue a building permit before the sidewalk is completed, of course. So you just need to bond that says, I want to have this lot be able to get its building permit, but I don't want to put the sidewalk in until it's done with the heavy equipment. And then, so you put a performance security in place with the city, and then you can wait up to 2 years.
Okay.
We don't want you to wait any longer than you have to, but you do have up to 2 years.
But your final approval of the development will be held up by the placement of that.
Not the approval of this plat,
Final inspection,
the
I
final
should say.
inspection.
Sure.
Which means it delays your warranty period, and so I'm happy if you warranty stuff for longer than a year, but you probably don't want to.
Understood.
So the sooner that gets in, the better. But yeah, that would be a requirement for closing out the final inspection of the development.
Okay.
But it won't hold up your minimum improvements to get your building permits. You just need to focus on your water, sewer, and stormwater for the most part, and your hard surface to get back there.
Okay.
So
Do you have another question?
Not in regards with this, no.
Curious, you're talking about putting a berm across the west edge of that lot and the pond in the northwest corner. How high will that berm be?
it shouldn't be no higher than, I would imagine, 2 feet at the absolute
feet.
max.
Okay, and the
But
pond
that should be
about how big?
dictated by the construction drawing, so we don't have that document to.
And how big would the pond be?
Pond states that it's got to hold 980 cubic feet of material, so
It varies from a foot to a foot and a half.
it looks like that dimension is 13.8 feet wide on that dimension. And is there a dimension provided right there? 20 feet. So 20 by 30 foot area, 2 feet deep in that northwest corner.
Okay, is there heavy gravel or something in the bottom of that to soak the water in?
In terms of the construction documents, they will have to provide proof that the storm pond drains within 72 hours.
The whole thing will drain within 72 hours.
Percolation
in
rate
full.
or test or
I'm
something.
concerned because dock staters and us have a little ditch, historical drain ditch from watering in the past on that pasture down between our houses. And that pond overflows, we could get our basements flooded. That's what I'm only concerned.
No,
And
that's a good point.
so I'd like to have some assurance, that it's going to soak in the ground and not down our little drainage ditch between the houses.
That comes through the requirement of having the construction drawings be stamped by the
Okay.
professional civil engineer provided by the developer.
And then we both have basements, and there's a possibility it'd soak in the ground and then through the walls of the basements if they're not tight. But anyway,
The way stormwater works, they still get to allow historical flow. So if the water has historically done something, they can still allow it to historically do it. It's just they can't increase the rate or the amount. But if it's historically flowed there, you may still get some flow there, but they will put the pond in to contain most of it. But we can't guarantee nature that there won't be some flowing down through there.
The purpose of this pond is to increase what's already there. So it's an increase of protection as opposed to any kind of addition of risk. Because as the history has had, that lot and other things isn't going to impact any of those, but to give another place for things to settle before they can even get farther down to your place is the whole purpose of this.
I was just concerned that, get another home in there and a lot of concrete, and we got a lot of roof area and concrete already on his place, and all of that will be coming downhill, and I'm just concerned that we have a pond big enough to take care of it.
Well, some of that has already been taken care of, roughed in. It doesn't sound like it's been finished, but roughed in when the house next door to you got built. So some of that was taken care of with the original subdivision, and John is now adding to that retention. So,
Some of what got taken care of when the house next to me was built.
some of the retention, the original subdivision, when Nick Ballas split the lots originally, he had to rough in the detention area for stormwater at the time that house was built.
Stormwater mitigation.
Okay. So we kind of planned on the pond all along. when he
Yes, yes, it's been
subdivided.
planned on all along.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
You got anything else?
No, I think I'm,
Okay. So, to summarize, we need a couple of notes changed on the plat. One of the signatures changed on the plat. We need the construction page to amend those construction drawings. We can, depending on how these gentlemen feel and what their motion is, we can make a motion to approve this based on those conditions. And then as those conditions, once those conditions are filled, we won't have to come back to this meeting. We would just move forward with the paperwork. The next meeting you could anticipate having, if that's the case, would be when we schedule the pre-construction meeting to talk about the construction policies before you start work.
Quick question about the construction drawings. There is two potential scenarios where they could alter the direction of the construction drawings, specifically in regards to slope of the sewer line. That mostly being if they choose to do a basement or not, will significantly impact said slopes of the sewer line.
I don't know that the
Or do you, I guess the
grade-
question is what's the scope of the slope? Because we can do just bare minimum slope up to like where the line is and just showing that there is a slope going that direction. But depending on if there's a basement or not will impact the slope and how that works, which we won't know until later.
I would assume that it'll be a 4-inch at a minimum 2% slope 4-inch pipe going towards this location. And that's all that the construction drawings will require. The home's architect or design will really ultimately decide whether or not they need an injection pump to get it to that gravity pipe that will come out of the road as far as it can at 2% into that lot.
Sure.
And then they do their thing with their house and they'll either need a pump or they won't. And whether you need or don't need that pump isn't necessary on these construction drawings.
Okay.
Because you don't have to take it right to the house. You just have to take it down into their lot.
Got it.
Anything else?
No, that's all for me.
Okay.
Well, actually, let me just confirm that I have the right understanding. So what I have for notes, the construction page specifically referencing the slope and placement of retention pond, the hardscape of the road. So I guess with the retention pond, there is some drawings with the retention pond as is, but it doesn't, to my knowledge, include any kind of berm directing flow, and that's just
Sounds
Yeah.
right to me.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then with the hard water, the hard road, I can't think of the name, the road access, showing that as well as how to make sure that we get to the specific pressure or PSI or whatever it is to get to that level of deal. And then the water, sewer, and irrigation and how those are going to interplay in this setup.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, I think, and then I need to have, so the Mylar paper and getting those signatures, that's done after I get through all the construction, correct?
Yep.
Okay. No, I think that's what we need to know.
Okay. Do either of you gentlemen want to make a motion?
Yeah, I can make a motion. So I motion that we approve the Bauer subdivision amendment number 1 conditionally, the conditions are that on the plat, a comment to protect the contours and the stormwater improvements be added, that the easements provided contain all areas for the stormwater, including the detention pond and the berm, that the utility company approval CenturyLink be replaced with Providence Fiber, that a construction drawing plan set be provided for the alterations between the approved construction drawings and that which is needed to complete the amendment or the subdivision amendment as presented.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Stephen Wood, second by Rob Stapley. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And you're, and if he has some questions.
Noted.
Thank you for your participation.
Thank you. Now I know how to spell your name. I've spelled it 3 different ways.
That's okay. I probably answered to all 3. Okay, moving on to our next item. Homes on the Parkway,
Another amended plat.
amended plat. The Administrative Land Use Authority. You bet. The Administrative Land Use Authority will review, discuss, and may approve an amended plat for the Homes on the Parkway Phase 2, amendment of Lot 2. Colton?
All right. So, as stated, this is applicant requesting approval to change the number of lots. So for amended subdivision, application was received on October 14th, 2025, contained the Providence City final and amended subdivision plat application, site plan petition to amend a subdivision, and petition seeks to change the number of lots within the subdivision by subdividing 1 or more lots. Findings in fact, Utah Code, Title 10, Chapter 9A, Part 6, subdivision gives a legislative body of municipality the authority to enact ordinances requiring that a subdivision plat comply with the provisions of the municipality's ordinances and provisions of Part 6. And then Providence City Code 2-4-1 establishes administrative land use authority as a land use authority for all subdivisions. Conclusions of law, Providence City has enacted ordinances requiring that subdivision plat complies with provisions of the municipality's ordinances and provisions of the Utah Code Title 10, Chapter 9A, Section 6. Proposed final plat is consistent with general plan and development in the surrounding areas. Of course, conditions, applicant will continue to meet all relevant federal, state, county, and federal city rules, laws, codes, and ordinances. Any additional conditions the administrative land use may acquire, and approval by the city of any application or paperwork submitted does not alleviate the owners and or their agents from their responsibility to understand and conform to the local, state, and federal laws. Providence City's approval is not intended to and cannot be construed to allow any laws to be violated.
Thanks, Colton. Ashton, Danny, you got any questions on that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, just good to be back.
Welcome back.
I have a couple questions. Well, we talked about one. There is a bit of a mistake in note 2, and I talked to Danny about that as he came in. It's just more of a grammatical error. On the address table, so if someone purchases lot 19, their address is, you're proposing their address would be 220 North Spring Creek Parkway. Would it be Unit 19 or would it be D19?
It'd be Unit 19.
Okay.
Which is the way that the post office does it now, because they're the post office box that's out front has just units 1 through 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to suggest that you make sure whatever it is, you run it past the post office.
Yeah, it's already been stamped and and accepted by them, because that's how they've been doing it for the last 3 years.
Stephen does his best, and then Ty and I have to figure out how to make his best work sometimes, so.
It's pain.
It's been a trick. What do you gentlemen have? So, to just explain a little bit about what's going on first, these buildings were constructed as townhomes, but not recorded on the plat as that way,
Yeah,
correct?
they have firewalls and they're separate.
Right.
Yeah,
And so basically what you're doing now is they were built as townhomes, but
Mhm.
utilized as an apartment building under one ownership.
correct.
Now you're recording them as townhomes
Yeah.
and they can be sold independently.
Yeah, similar to what was done on the phase 1 of Holmes and Parkway. And those were subdivided from the very beginning, and
Right,
but they're built the exact same way.
right. I just wanted that on the record, that they were built properly in the first place,
Yes.
so that there's no construction needed. It's just a matter, and actually, there's no addressing change needed.
No,
It's just a matter of now recording individual lots.
correct.
Okay.
I guess my only question for this entire agenda item relates to how the HOA's been working and how it will work, since I work so closely, it seems like, with assisting and aiding in HOA situations. Will that alter or change, do you see?
Well, I
See.
mean, the phase 1 to the north, we sold the front building about a year ago, and so that's had an HOA, and all the exterior maintenance, everything dealing with, irrigation or anything like that is handled by the HOA, and we have HOA documents and CCNRs. And so this phase 2, there has not been an HOA because it's been under one ownership, but there will be an HOA.
You've been the HOA.
Yeah,
But it'll get handed over to this other one that's took over for
it
the
still
first
will
part?
be, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it'll work the exact same way, because I'll be the HOA president and I'll be managing the funds. It's just that each unit will be required to pay an HOA due every year, and, for the exterior maintenance of the property.
So nothing really in my realm's gonna change. I'll still call you if I have a situation
Yeah.
for you or your HOA people to assist me with,
Yeah,
and back and vice versa.
yeah.
Okay.
And we don't intend to, I mean, we're gonna, eventually sell some of these units, but not all of them. So I'll still be involved for this foreseeable future.
Okay,
You
sounds
can
good.
call me anytime, Rob.
But you will have to amend your CCNRs now that they're under private, that each unit could be under its individual ownership, right?
Yeah, well, we don't currently have CCNRs for phase
Oh.
2 because it's just been but we are creating
Okay.
those. Those will be part of this recording. Those are HOA
say,
and
so-
CCNRs.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you, you can't record this until you have your
Yeah,
CCRs
correct.
ready. Okay.
Yep.
We don't have to approve them, but you do have to have them ready to go.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have anything, Stephen?
No, my biggest question was just the ownership of the common area and how that was going to be taken care of.
Yeah,
And Rob already asked it. And so,
yeah. We try to keep it really nice, and think it always looks nice.
And we haven't had to talk much on this one, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a good
Yeah, it's been good.
working model so far.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. If there's no other comments or questions, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the homes on the Parkway amended plat, item 2 on the agenda.
Do I have a second?
am I allowed to ask a question?
Make your
This
second
point.
and then you can.
Yes, I can second that.
Okay. Motion by Rob Stapley, second by Stephen Wood. And your question?
Just the perimeter public utility easement, the PUE. Was it previously recorded, or is the common area?
There wasn't, this is what the previous one looked like. And it didn't show it.
So the 2 PUEs that were required were the 2 on the north sides of the first 3 buildings for the power and the gas.
I'm just talking about the boundary perimeter is a PUE for the Providence City to run utilities on. Does that common area need that PUE? That's my only question.
No, other than, I guess, you bring up a tidbit that I don't know. This shows it the way I envisioned it always being on that far southeast corner where we have that skinny right-of-way trail that goes between the storage units and your homes on Parkway, and enough to maybe walk around the corner
Yeah.
without crossing boundary fences.
Uh-huh.
This doesn't appear to show it that way.
Oh, in that corner here.
Yeah.
Right, we can add that.
Just thinking, does note 6 give us the easement that we typically would want? With the exception of those areas under private ownership, the property is subject to a blanket easement over across. Is that an easement giving it to Providence City for,
I'm not sure what that
or is that
easement's.
easement's note giving it to the individual owners?
Well, that's a blanket easement for any of those utilities.
So, I mean, if that's a blanket, then
Yeah.
that's what would
But-
work for us.
But Rob still needs to have, this little road is a little bit different than that blanket easement, so to
Yeah,
show that.
we will add that on the corner.
Okay.
So,
'Kay.
yeah, we've recognized that. I mean, it's
Okay.
there, and we're still waiting for it to be used.
But as far as the 14-foot access, or the easement he's referring to, the perimeter easement, I don't know that there's any concern there related
No,
to.
and the biggest thing is if we are all comfortable, Providence City, if we ever needed to, if heaven forbid, running a sewer line along the eastern edge of this property and we needed to utilize 5 feet of that to go through all the properties for a new sewer line, does that blanket easement right there provide Providence City the right to run that sewer line there?
Rather than sewer, it might be a water line because of our new park. We might need to have a water line so we can have 2 feeds to the water service. So
Yes.
likely the use of our easement is possibly a water line sooner than a sewer line. So,
And that's more of just like
anyway,
just making sure that
possible.
we have the right to utilize the perimeter PUEs to put in utilities as needed. Just want to make sure that blanket statement, that blanket easement provided in note 6 is appropriate for us in a future date if ever needed. Instead of recording the perimeter PUEs, we typically see it if that blanket easement's appropriate. That's, as far as I'm concerned, I believe it is. But I just want to make sure that the 3 of us were in agreement on that.
Well, since it specific calls out water and sewer, does also call out storm drainage, gas, telephone, cable, internet, and electrical power. I think that covers the services
Yeah.
that we would need.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm good with it. I just, sorry for bringing up the question, but yeah, I just want to double check. But
Sounds good.
any other comment?
Nope.
Okay. What about you back there? Okay. That being said, we had a motion by Rob Stapley, a second by Stephen Wood. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. So next steps, this is all a little bit new, the land use authority. So do we just can we go straight, if we make these revisions, we can go straight to a Mylar? And,
I believe so.
okay. Oh, that was easy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Have a good day.
See ya.
Thanks, Danny.
That takes care of our agenda items. So unless there's not something someone wants us to consider on a future agenda, no comments, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Stephen Wood,
I'll second the motion.
second by Rob Stapley. All in favor?